So this is the 2020 Lexus ES300 Hybrid. In every other Lexus ES, you get a 3.5 liter V6 that's good for over 300 horsepower and like 276, I think, pound-feet of torque. A healthy, stout, strong engine. In the hybrid, you get a 2.5 liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder, like 178 horsepower, with an electric motor and a hybrid transaxle. Combined output of about 215 horsepower. And I'm gonna start off by saying the one thing I don't like about this car: the thrashy engine. It is so unbecoming of this car. A car that really, in every other way, is quite lovely. You know, one of the things Lexus has been sort of chided for of late is their monster grille. They've taken to personalizing that grille based on the model you get within the lineup. So the hybrid one here has what I think is actually an attractive use of that monster grille. And then you add in the LED headlights and LED taillights, and as the sun is going down, this ES300 strikes quite an interesting profile. I think that this is just a nice looking car. We have this two-tone leather interior with what looks to me to be bamboo wood. Door trim, dash trim, even on the steering wheel. And it looks scrumptious, like your favorite candy bar. The only downside to this beautiful interior is this big swath of leather on the doors. So it hits my peripheral vision in such a way that it looks like there's a whole nother seat or something in the door. It's takes some getting used to. There is some wind noise in here. It's mostly generated, I think, from the mirrors. But all in all, this is a really quiet, comfortable cabin. This particular ES300 hybrid that we're in is the ultra luxury version, which is just another checkbox on your order form. One thing that you do get is a beautiful Mark Levinson sound system that I've really enjoyed putting through its paces this last week. And look at this screen. This is a thing of glory. This is like when you went from a tube TV to your first flat screen. The sight line for my eyes to go from the road to the screen is a glorious thing to behold. And there's a heads-up display. So I really never have to take my eyes very far off the road. Something else that I really like about this car is the interaction with the car itself. So I don't need to go through the menu with this obtrusive, annoying mouse pad to turn on my heated seat. I just boop. If I want to turn on my cooled seat, I just do that. And the cooled seats are fantastic. There's a fan in here that's blowing cool air on my backside. You can actually feel my shirt billowing in the wind. It's a nice little cool breeze down my back. That's really nice. But this, finally, Lexus, is sensible. There's fun little things in here too. Under my armrest, I have a wireless phone charger. That's a good spot for it instead of taking up space up here where now I've got a cup holder and 2 USB ports. There's a cup holder back here as well, and there's a little button that says push. And if you push that, it drops down a little rubber matted platform in the middle of the cup holder in case you have a smaller cup. That's fantastic. Little details like that are great. And I feel like there's almost Easter eggs that I've discovered throughout my time with this vehicle. The hybrid powertrain does give you enough oomph to get going. I just wish that it wasn't so thrashy when it did it. Like I said, it's just unbecoming of a car of this grandeur. And the ES300 really is a car of grandeur. Then there's this part of the hybrid powertrain. I have this cool little screen in front of me that's just a single dial. It shows my speed in the middle, what gear I'm in, drive. You can shift this manually. Why? You don't need to. It tells me, this little screen down here tells me when the car is charging the batteries using the batteries or using what it calls power, which is that 2.5 liter engine. Right now, I'm in full power. Now, I'm charging. Get on the brakes. I'm charging a lot. It's kind of fun. And the heads-up display actually has a bar graph along the bottom that shows you the same thing, whether you're charging or using the battery or using the engine, the gasoline-powered engine. That's really cool. And here's the biggest benefit to having this hybrid powertrain. Even though it's anemic, and I'm not a fan, I am a fan of the fact that over several hundred miles and some sporting driving and some cruising, 41.6 miles per gallon. In this 7th generation ES300, that's longer, lower, wider than the outgoing 6th generation. That mileage is fantastic today. I think with this generation of the ES, it really is a different feeling vehicle. They moved where the electric assist is for the steering to help improve steering feel. Does it work? I like the steering, so sure. The transmission is an 8-speed automatic that I don't even notice. And that's exactly what an automatic transmission should do. Blend into the background so that you don't even have to think about it. Like many other Lexuses across the lineup, we have adjustable modes up here and traction control knob over here that all started with the Lexus LFA sports car years ago. So you can twist down to go in eco mode, which I'm driving in right now. You push it in and you're in normal. Then you can actually flip this one up and go to sport. And that changes the gauge that I'm looking at in front of me and makes it a tachometer with a speedometer instead of that charging thing, because now I'm going to be in the gas engine all the time. But that will diminish your fuel economy over time if you keep it in gas engine sport mode all the time. And if you buy an ES Lexus, are you really looking to buy a sports car? I hope not. There are sports sedans out there. Lexus even makes some. This is not one of those. Another improvement that Lexus made for the hybrid model is they took the battery out of the trunk and put it under the rear seats. What that did was cleared up a vast amount of trunk space, so you actually have a really usable trunk in this car. And we put that to the test this week as well, with all sorts of hard cases, groceries, everything, and nary a complaint. There's room for lots of stuff in the trunk. Everything in this car seems really well thought out, really well engineered, and really well put together. So how much is all of this sumptuous, lovely, quiet, cosseting ride going to cost you? The base price for the ES300 Hybrid is $45,000, just over $45,000. This ultra luxury, technology-packed, wonderful vehicle is $55,000. Would I take this over the Lexus LS? I certainly would. So I would save myself a good chunk of change by buying this. Not a bad deal. But when all is said and done, there is some place I'd rather be than the driver's seat, and that's back here. I've got a huge cutout for my head, so I have ample headroom. As long as there's not a 7-footer sitting in front of me, I have ample legroom. I can put my whole hand up here. Got a nice little pocket in the back. I've got 2 USB ports, a 12-volt outlet. I've got vents, more speakers from that beautiful Mark Levinson system. In fact, I can make it quite private with my own little shade. This is the best seat in the house right here. Anybody want to be my driver?